Welcome to the Warrior Woodshop. In this episode, we're going to make this backlit LED sign. Welcome to the Warrior Woodshop. My name is Mr. Rodaway, and in this episode we're making this backlit LED sign. This came from our basketball court scoreboard table, and I think it was lit up with fluorescent lights in the back. Obviously we modernized it with the color changing RGB LED lights. This, you might be thinking, why do I need to watch this? I don't have a screen printed backlit LED plexiglass sign, right? This would be perfect for a movie room in the basement. You could use plexiglass and double stick tape, put movie posters to it and use the same concept. Or this, also the way we built this with simple dados and rabbits, could be used for a shadow box for a jersey, or we had a student do it with their Eagle Scout neckerchiefs and plaques. There's a lot of variations, and the process is really simple: dados, rabbits, grooves, and a French cleat to hang it on the wall. So let's head into the shop and let's get started. So we're gonna head over to our oak bin and our oak shelf and get some oak out, and let's get started with our rough cutting. Be right back. All right, we're back from rough cutting, and now it's time to cut them to final length. And in most cases, you probably got a good set of drawings or sketches that have already done some calculations. When you're working with a screen print on glass or plexiglass like this, you got to kind of work backwards. The groove that the plexiglass or glass is going to go into is the same depth as the rabbets. So in our case, instead of adding 1.5 inches for the top, we're at 47 3/4. We're going to go to 48.5. We're only adding 3/4 because, again, that groove and the rabbit depth are the same. So 48.5 is our top, and then our sides are going to be exactly the same, 32 3/4, again because of that groove. So I've got those numbers written down. We want to make sure that our 2 rails for the sides are the same length, and our 2 rails for the top and bottom are the same length exactly. So that's going to be done by squaring up one end and using a stop block to get 2 repetitive cuts. We're going to use our table saw sled to create a rabbit on each end of the top and bottom piece. It's going to be 3/4 inch wide by 3/8 deep. Next, we're going to switch over to a 1/4 inch wide dado blade, or this could be done with a 1/4 inch wide router bit, and cut a groove about 1/2 inch away from the front edge. The depth will be the same as the rabbit we just cut in the last step. That way it matches up. All right, time for the moment of truth. Our first dry fit. Should. Awesome. Well, the dry fit went good. That's what careful measuring pays off. Doesn't the natural wood contrast really well with the black background? I think so too. Now that we dry fitted it all together, it's time to take it apart. It's a little bit easier to 100 or 150 grit sand with everything being individual pieces. All right, we're ready for some assembly, or at least the first few steps. You need to be in a position at this point in the project where you can complete the next phase, this assembly plus the French cleat, all in one setting, because it's going to be real flimsy being a U-shaped piece until that French cleat gets in. It'll still be kind of flimsy at that point, so you got to be careful. But if you can't assemble the 2 sides and the French cleat at this point, which we haven't even cut yet, wait until you have enough time to do so. So otherwise it goes together just like any standard rabbit or cabinet with a rabbit. Put a little glue on the corners. Make sure your rabbit is same direction. And we're going to assemble this with the face down. That way we can put our French cleat on without having to lift it up. And when you're assembling, make sure you don't put a nail into the groove, so stay high enough up. And as with any woodworking project that you use glue in there, make sure you clean up the squeeze up. We're ready to measure for our French cleat. That is a 1x6 cut at a 45-degree angle, ripped about approximately halfway through. All right, we're back from milling up our pieces. It kind of never fails to work out that the miter cut doesn't have to be perfectly in the middle. You want to have ones probably 60%, the other one's probably 40. The smaller piece should go on the wall. You want the wider piece to go on your cabinet or your frame. Just give you a little more stability and structure here. Since we're assembling this upside down, the wider side of this cleat should be facing you or facing the back of the project. Just think about this, and then when you hang this on the wall, the wider piece should be facing you because the wall will trap it in this V right there. And we've cut this, I think 2 inches shorter. We just eyeballed it. Allows you to position this to hit studs and then center this on the wall accordingly. It works really well with headboards. We do this technique with headboards, the wall flags that sometimes are in the view behind us. So we'll set this off to the side. Good fit there. So this time we're going to glue 3 sides. When you nail the end, make sure you don't nail too far down and get into the 45-degree angle. Now there's one adjustment we would make if this was an actual shadow box and it had a back panel. When we cut the groove, we would also cut a rabbet down each of the back sides, but it would be the thickness of our French cleat plus the thickness of our back. So that would allow the French cleat to sit behind the wall and the back panel hide it. In this case, since it's a backlit panel, you could do this with a movie poster. If you've got a game room or something like that, you don't need to have the back panel, and that will help out there. So we can drop our LEDs in around here after we get this all finished, slide everything in, and use some polyurethane glue to attach the top. One minor design change from the shadow box versus the backlit plexiglass or movie poster idea. With a shadow box, you have a back panel that gets stapled in and squares everything up, with the bottom piece being removable. This one, I've noticed, just setting it up for finishing, we're getting a little bit of separation here. So on the back side, we're going to take and drill a couple pocket screws and assemble it that way. It would have been easier to pre-drill the pocket holes in the jig rather than having to use the rocket style pocket hole jig and do it afterwards, but at least it's still doable and we can save the project. Hold that nice and tight. this wraps it up again on our LED backlit sign. You can do this with backlit screen printed image like we have here. Again, a movie poster for the man cave or movie room in the basement, or add a back panel and do the same kind of procedure, just screw the side on rather than glue it like we did, and now it becomes a shadow box. So hopefully you got something out of it. If you like what you saw here, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. We do have a student building a shadow box for their jersey that they used over the last couple school years in a little memorabilia. So maybe we can put a video together of kind of how they did that one. So again, like, subscribe, and hopefully we'll see you again in the workshop. All stuff to say is, go out and make some sawdust.